And what is going on, everybody? All the football fans out there. It's your boy Darian. We're back with another live stream, not even live stream, but video for y'all to talk about the NFL Divisional Playoff round. It'll be very interesting, but I have a special person with me. Now, y'all know that Nothing But Raiders podcast comes back on Tuesday right here on the Spotlight Football Talk. And we have the newest co-host of Nothing But Raiders podcast, my boy Leo. And we're going to be, we have some special things behind the scenes. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to get this thing off the board. But what's going on, brother? We back at it again. What's up, man? What we doing?
What's
What's up?
up, bro? What's up, man? I'm excited. I'm so excited, bro. You bring up that Raider podcast, I'm gonna be excited. Talk about Raider football, and sadly, we ain't in it right now,
Right.
so we just gotta focus on these games because I'm excited for this playoff football. Though I'm a football fan. I'm a Raider fan, but I'm a big football fan. So we got these games coming up, and it's gonna be exciting and interesting, bro, to see what happens.
It's going to be really interesting because we had our talks about our X factors and everything of that nature, but we're definitely going to let the nation know, and we're going to have to let the football fans know what is going on with these divisional rounds, man. Because we have 2 games on Saturday and 2 games on Sunday, and I'm excited. I'm excited. So,
Yeah,
man, you ready to
same
get
here.
down to this, man?
Let's go.
You
Let's
ready?
do this, man. Let's get down. Let's figure this out.
All right, let's
Get
get
it
down
started
to the
with.
nitty gritty of things, man. So let's talk about it. First game on Saturday, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars going into our rival that we cannot stand, the Kansas City Chiefs, bro. What are your thoughts on this game, man? Tell us how you feel knowing that they just beat the Chokers last week, Jacksonville. Doug Peterson got them playing well. They won 6 straight games, 5 to get into the playoffs. How big of a test this is for Jacksonville to try to go into KC and beat KC?
Man, first of all, Jacksonville. Who would have thought Jacksonville in the South? You know,
Right.
it was Tennessee, and now we got Jackson. Oh, thank you so much for taking care of the Chokers. Me being from LA, I couldn't be happier. I was just laughing as they came back. But you know what? They got a huge test in front of them. They really do. Mahomes and the Chiefs and Andy Reid, these boys have been at it before. This is nothing new to them. This is like just another week for them. So it's going to be interesting to see if Jacksonville can, come up and rise to the challenge that the Chiefs are going to bring up. But I'll tell you this much: the Chiefs, this Red Kingdom, better watch out. They better not overlook these
Mm,
Jaguars because these Jaguars are coming for you. These ain't the old Jaguars of old. It ain't Mark Brunell and these fools back there no more. They got the new coach has got these guys playing hard. He brought the weapons for Trevor Lawrence, and now they're just moving. They're moving, and they're playing good ball. And I like the way they're playing. They're playing good ball at the right time, like you said. That winning streak, that's when you want to get hot, and you
right.
bring that into this time of the season. This is the playoff football. That's the time you want to get on these winning streaks. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this weekend.
I agree. I think Doug Peterson was the right fit for the coach, going from having Urban Meyer and having all these coaches go through Jacksonville. And now they finally actually found a winning coach in the NFL, no matter if he was with Philadelphia, no matter if he was with KC all those years. And now he's back with Jacksonville, even though that the fact that he won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles with a backup quarterback, you see how Trevor Lawrence has progressed, even though their record is still no, they did have what not like 8 losses, but still
Yeah.
they was able to win that division and get that number 4 seed. And this is going to be really interesting to watch when it comes to the running backs, like I said before, and the quarterback play. So when it comes to Trevor Lawrence and Patrick Mahomes, we know it's like 2 different levels, but you see that potential ceiling for Trevor Lawrence, but we already see that for Patrick Mahomes. So when it comes down to the X factors, I want to hear from you though, because
So
these X factors that I have, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about.
man, I think for Jacksonville, it's gonna have to be play smart.
Mhm.
Don't you're in Kansas City, you're in Arrowhead. This is gonna be new for you. That stadium gets loud.
Right.
This energy in that building is gonna be amazing. and these Chiefs can score on you like that in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
Don't they can't panic. They got to stick to the plan, play it out. Remember, if they fall behind, they came back last week. They can do it again, and they just stick to the plan. Control the clock. Keep
right,
Mahomes and them off the field. And I think the key for them is going to be that defensive line. They're going to
yeah,
have to make sure they contain Mahomes because Mahomes is going to do Mahomes things. He's got his weapons. He's got Kelsey. He's got Tony. He's got McKinnon. He's got all these weapons. But he's most dangerous when he starts ad-libbing things and you let
right,
him run around and he makes all these little fancy passes and then there's nothing you can do but feel defeated as a defense. So if Jacksonville can just contain him, get pressure on him, I think they can stand a chance and just interrupt that offense and get them, second guessing what they're doing. Jacksonville can hang in there, man. I think they really can. And on the opposite side of the end, it's going to be, what is so different with Mahomes that makes him so damn special. Like you see this dude playing, and he's got all his weapons. But recently, if you look at it, they've been using not so many people. A lot of people are like, what are they going to do without Tyreek? What are they going to do without Tyreek? And I know now they got McKinnon. McKinnon's been balling for them.
right.
Nobody expected McKinnon to start balling for them. They're using Tony, somebody they just picked up out of nowhere. The Giants trashed them and sent them as a wash away. And now you got Andy Reid doing all these trick plays and custom plays for him to get in there. So that key for them is just going to be just to keep going with what they do, knowing what they do, protect Mahomes, and to just let that offense go. Just let it
Right.
out. 'Cause that's what they do. They can just light it up like
So
nobody else.
Jared McKinnon is going to be my X factor for the Kansas City Chiefs. Absolutely. I'm gonna need a different X factor outside of Travis Kelsey and Jared McKinnon. What I am going to need to do is that who is it going to be? McCole Hardman? Will it be Sky Moore? Will it be uh, on the defensive side? Will it be McDuffie on the rookie that coming out? That as
Right.
far as that go, and I'm not really too big on the Kansas City Chiefs defense.
Oh no. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not really too fathom about them because we did put up points against them. You know what I'm saying? We did put up points
Mm-hmm.
against them. So, and that was on what? That was a Monday night, if I'm not
That was a
mistaken,
Monday
right?
night game. Yep, that was a Monday night game.
Yeah, it was a night game. So, with that being said, I just felt like we can. The Raiders. If I'm Doug Peterson, look at that Raiders game. Look at some of them games that actually they gave up a lot of
Right,
points. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So if
Mhm.
I am the Jacksonville Jaguars, I would try to establish the run and look
Oh,
at that Raiders
definitely.
game where Josh Jacobs ran for what 150, 160 yards on these guys.
Mhm.
Why not look at that film and see how effective you could be in the running game with Travis Etienne? And you got a
He
few
wants the
other running
ball.
backs. You have a few other running backs as well that could do something, but you got to see the underrated receivers for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We knew Zay Jones, a former Raider that played these guys twice.
Mhm.
Then you have a Christian Kirk that made mad money. So
Oh,
when it
yeah.
comes to Christian Kirk deserving his money coming over from Arizona, I think the only thing that Jacksonville is lacking is their tight end position. But if this offensive line can keep Trevor Lawrence up, it's a possibility
Right.
that we might see an upset.
Upset.
But I'd say, yeah, my X factors for the Jacksonville Jaguars, I say Travis Etienne is going to have to be big. And I think they're going to focus on Christian Kirk, but I say Zay Jones on the offense or as far as the wide receivers go. I say that. Defensively, I think that whole defense just have to play complementary football to be
Oh,
X factors.
definitely.
They got to play
Mhm.
team ball to contain Patrick Mahomes at the end of the day. So that's basically my key factors going into this game. But what is other thing? What other things do you see in this game that possibly Kansas City wins or Jacksonville wins? So just give me your just be on a I wouldn't say devil's advocate, but what is the keys to victory for Jacksonville and what is the keys to victory for Kansas City?
I think you said it right for Jacksonville's controlling that clock. Use that running back that's been, doing so well for you all year. Why stop now? Even if you start falling behind, don't forget about that running game and let Trevor use these receivers that were brought to him and use them the way is intended. He's been throwing good balls to them, and the receivers need to play big. Don't be dropping balls. That ball's good. You need to make these big catches. The mistakes have to be very, very limited for Jacksonville for them to be able to pull this victory off. You know what I mean? They just have to play really solid, strong, fundamental, sound football, and then just stick to the plan. Because I think they can probably pull it off. They have a chance. This game's definitely going to be a lot closer than people think. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it was Jacksonville. What they going to do against the Chiefs, Mahomes, and then put up points?" But a lot of teams have put up a lot of points against the Chiefs defense. Like you said, the Raiders have. Buffalo has. Other teams have put up points. The Chargers have. So there you can go one toe to toe with this team. The thing is, you just got to be able to keep doing it. I think it's going to come down to one of those games like who has the ball last type thing. And you definitely don't want Mahomes and the Chiefs to have the ball last to be able to go down there for the winning drive. You definitely don't want to be in that spot if you're Jacksonville. You got to take those chances to get that extra first down on fourth, then do it. Because you can't let them just go off from running in you and then play catch up the whole time. You got to just stick in there and play that fundamental ball to do it. And I think with KC, if anything goes wrong with them, it's going to be their own undoing because they remember the whole year it's been Kansas City and Cincinnati or Kansas City and Buffalo. And we're not even there yet. They can't look forward to next week and see, okay, this is who we're going to play. They still have to remember we have this divisional game still where we have to play this team and we have to beat them because they can't look Jacksonville. They made it here for a reason. It ain't no fluke. They're a good, sound football team that's hot right now. So Kansas City's got to stay focused on that, and they can't overlook this and look forward to next week whether they're going to play Cincinnati or if they're going to play Buffalo.
I absolutely agree there. I absolutely agree. I think Kansas City can't look over Jacksonville. Jacksonville coming in with hunger. They coming off a winning streak, and they looking to shock the world. They really
Mm-hmm.
looking to shock the world, and they cannot play around with this team. And they be like, "Oh, it's just the Jacksonville Jaguars. We gonna see Buffalo
Right.
or Cincinnati in the AFC Championship." No, you can't think
Mm-mm.
like that. If I'm Andy Reid and I am Eric Bieniemy and this coaching staff, I'm not looking forward to the AFC Championship. I'm looking for what's in front of me right now, and that is the Jacksonville Jaguars. So with me, if I am Andy Reid, all that cockiness from Patrick Mahomes and all the cockiness you get from Kansas City because they 12-4, number 2 seed. They had a first round bye, da 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 da. Nip that all in the bud because whatever you did in the regular season, it don't mean jack squat in the
Nope.
playoffs at this point.
Not
It
one
just it
bit.
just does it. So I just feel like with Kansas City, they have potential to win this game with McCole Hartman, which I'm not really big on. I'm not big on Juju Smith-Schuster either. Sky
Not
Moore
too.
is
Right.
a young receiver that has to learn to get better. You do have that other guy. He's number 2. He's another running back that they have. I forgot his name, but he's an undrafted free agent. He's from Jersey. That's how I know who he is. So for Jacksonville, just keep playing your football. I
Oh
understand that
yeah.
Trevor Lawrence actually had 4 picks against the Chargers and still came back and won that game. Just play your football. Just keep playing. Just keep fighting. That's one thing. One thing about Kansas City, they don't like they like to punch people in the mouth, but they don't like when they get punched back. And that's
Mm-mm.
why most of the years you've seen Kansas City not make it to the Super Bowl because they were so used to punching, and nobody could move the ball on them. In the last couple of years, they have not gotten to the Super Bowl because they was getting punched back right in the mouth. So
Right
that's
back
exactly
in
what
them.
Jacksonville
Mm-hmm.
has to do. So as far as your predictions go, who do you have winning this game and why?
Honestly, as much as it's gonna hurt to see them move on, I think the Chiefs do pull off the win. But it's gonna be a lot closer than people think. I think ultimately it's going to come down to some crazy play or like some kind of drive that Mahomes gets the ball at the end and he's got to take the Chiefs down the field. And he's going to do his thing. He's going to throw it to Kelsey. He's going to do run around, get outside the pocket, and make some amazing play that everybody's going to be looking like, wow. And the Chiefs are going to ultimately pull it off. But it's not going to be easy. It definitely, I don't think, is going to be this blowout or this thing where the Chiefs are just going to run over Jacksonville the way people think. But I really think the Chiefs are going to come out on top this one probably, if I want to say 34-31. I think the Chiefs pull this off, but just barely coming out of there, coming out of Kansas City with this victory. Like, whoo, like that was not how they thought this was going to go.
I will have to disagree with you here, brother. I'm going
Oh,
with the upset. I think Jacksonville can go out and go toe to toe with this football team. Doug Peterson has been here. He has done that. He did it with Nick Foles with the Philadelphia Eagles. He was with this coaching staff in Kansas City with Andy Reid. So he knows what Patrick Mahomes could do. He know how Andy Reid know how to work his offense, and I think that he have his defensive coordinator prepared. Now, do I think this is a walk in the park game for Jacksonville? No, this is going to be a dog fight that they have to keep punching Kansas City in the mouth every time they punch you in the mouth. So you have to counter punch like in boxing. You have to counter punch what KC does. So whatever KC does, you do on them because they're both defenses is not great, but they do
Right.
make stops when is needed. So
Mhm.
I'm going KC. I'm not KC. I'm going Jacksonville here with the game-winning field goal, just like they did to the Chokers. 37-34. Jacksonville advances to the AFC Championship.
Man, that would be something if that happened.
I would love that. As a Raiders fan, I would love that. That Jacksonville
Definitely.
knocked out two of our division rivals in back-to-back weeks.
In
Can't
back
be
to back.
mad at that.
You can't, not at
Oh, that's
all.
bittersweet. That's bittersweet for our Raider Nation. Like what? Like you
Right.
you had this Kansas City Chiefs team. Oh, the Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl. Da 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 da. And then you get knocked out by the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they gonna say, oh, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. So what? You looking over them right now. You want Cincinnati because you want that clap back from last year. You
Oh, you
want
know they do.
Buffalo. You want
Mhm.
Buffalo because Buffalo went toe to toe for you, toe to toe with you when they had Tyreek Hill. I
Yep.
mean, listen. Kansas
Mhm.
City, they on you. The AFC is on you. They
They
figuring
coming
you
for
out.
you.
Even though you won 12 games, the league is the conference is figuring you out. That's
Right.
exactly what they're doing.
Mhm.
So let's move
Sure.
on, man. Go to the NFC. The second game on Saturday night. You have the number one overall seed in the NFL in the Philadelphia Eagles at home against third time's the charm. This is the third game that they play each other twice in the last couple of weeks.
Mhm.
The New York Football Giants. This game here, this might be a slugfest because
Oh
you
yeah.
had backups almost beating you in week 18,
Mhm.
and then none of their starters play in week 18. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one for me. Knowing that I live in Philadelphia, so.
Oh, I could just imagine everything you're hearing over there.
Oh my god. Speaking of that, I just saw on the news yesterday that a bread factory is making their bread the color green. They made their
What?
bread green. But you know what's
Who?
funny though? They have more than one actual location for their bakery, so they have one in New York as well. So you know what they have to do? They even though they in Philadelphia or in New York, they still make like the color blue bread and the color green bread, and they have cupcakes of Giants and Eagles in both
In both
locations.
locations.
So
Wow.
that is just ridiculous. I'm like, they doing too much now. See, Raiders, we can't do that. We got dark ass colors, like we got
Give
silver
us
and
a
black. Who
Get a
want to see
black
silver
sandwich.
bread? And when you think of black bread, you gonna
Yeah,
think
no.
like,
No, no,
okay,
no,
this
no.
shit burnt.
Right? Yeah, I don't want no burnt sandwich.
Right. So I thought it was creative to make it that color, but
Yeah,
that's a little bit too far for me. But
it is. It
let,
is.
let, let, let's talk about it, man. What how are you feeling about this game here?
Man,
Third time the charm, this round 3 here.
this game is so interesting to me, and that one, you pointed out the division rivals. No matter anytime you play your division rival, it's just different. It's different. I mean, you think about it, like look at our history, even back when we had, shitty ass teams on the Raiders. We still played. I mean, there would be times where we would beat these invincible Chiefs. We might have 2 wins, but one of those was against Kansas City because they're our division rivals. And then now
Yeah,
you think about
absolutely.
how good these Giants are playing. And it's funny you say number one seed because a lot of people, this may be the most overlooked number one seed I've ever heard. Because every time you look at it, the number one seed, they're the ones that are favored going in. But most people are talking about the Cowboys and the 49ers in the NFC. Unless in your area, I'm guessing it's different where you live because it's Philly. But
No,
over here,
they talking about the
you
Cowboys
know,
49ers game because
right.
it's mad Cowboys fans in this city, and I
Hmm.
don't understand why. But another story for another time.
But yeah, everybody else, they're the number one seed in the NFC. And it's just crazy that they don't get that same amount of like they're the ones going to do it like the Niners and the Cowboys are. So with that being said, I think this is going to be, like you said, that slug match, that division rivalry between these two because they know each other so well, and it's just going to be about who's going to come out on this field, lay it all on out there, and see who comes out on top. But the Eagles have been playing so well throughout the season, but towards the end, you kind of like lost and forgot about them. Everybody was talking about the Eagles, fly Eagles fly. Hurts was balling. He had Brown going. They had that running game. And then something happened after that Commanders game when they lost the first one, and then they almost lost, to Dallas with the backup. And they kind of people started slowly fading, started talking about them, and now you have these Giants who really don't have no big name superstars other than probably Barkley, and they're balling, and they made it to the playoffs. They took out the Minnesota Vikings. You know, they took them out, beat them, and now they're ready and they're hungry. And this is a very scary team to play against. A team like the Giants. Those are the teams that you would like, oh, whoa. They come in here and they don't give a damn because they know they got nothing to lose. Ain't nobody looking at them. And we go come in here and shock the world.
This game is going to be a slugfest, in my opinion. I don't see this game being not highly scored like Jacksonville and the Chiefs game would be.
Mm-hmm.
This is the NFC East. It's a competitive nature in this division. You got 3 teams in the playoffs from the NFC East, which I thought it could have been us. Could have been Raiders,
Right.
Chiefs, and Chargers.
Chargers.
But that's another story. I thought we had the best division in football, but that turned out to be totally wrong. It's really the NFC East. They got their crown back as one of the best divisions in football because the last couple of years,
mm-hmm.
they was last year they was trash. The year before they was trash. Yeah, so like, yeah, y'all got your little crown right now, cool. Because the NFC is not that great. With the NFC South, you got a 6-18 winning the division. That's trash. You know what I'm saying? So,
right,
like, you know what I'm saying. So the NFC, yeah, but these New York Giants, man, they went in and beat, the Minnesota Vikings last week in Minnesota, and people fail to forget this is what the Giants do.
Right.
This is what the Giants do. The last 2 Super Bowls that the Giants won, even though they was with Eli, but still, the last 2 that they won, they was wild cards and had to go on the road to beat everybody at their home.
Right.
Damn near. Mm-hmm. And they're doing it again, but not with Eli Manning. They're doing it with Daniel Jones, but everybody thought Daniel Jones was a bust. Right. Everybody thought Daniel Jones was this, Daniel Jones was that. But when you put a right coaching staff around Daniel Jones and around Saquon Barkley, you see a difference. And Brian Daboll, which I wanted as a Las Vegas Raiders coach,
right?
Mark Davis, take some damn notes.
Mm-hmm.
And you see what he did with this Giants team within 1 year.
Yes.
If he beats the Philadelphia Eagles this weekend, if he's not coach of the year, I don't know who is. Mm-hmm. That's just me. But let's look on the flip side of things. Nick Sirianni, a good football coach for this Philadelphia Eagles team. He was over with the Colts and they came over to be the head coach. They was the number one team all year. They was the last team to be undefeated. Even with Gardner Minshew losing to Dallas, Gardner still played a good game against Dallas, even though they lost to Dallas. Mm-hmm. But Jalen Hurts was having a good year. He was doing well. They was running the football. The defense was playing well. But he can't be complacent if I'm Nick Sirianni. You can't be complacent because now they're starting to figure out what you're trying to do. Meaning the run first by quarterbacks, like meaning you have Jalen Hurts just get the snap and just run the ball. Or is it 4th and 1 and you have everybody crammed them at the line and they know that you have successfully got the 4th and 1 on a quarterback sneak. You can't be complacent like that and you can't be predictable like that if I am Nick Sirianni. Well, with this defense for the Eagles, they got a good front 4. They always had. That's been the motto for Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. But that secondary, stout. I like Bradbury and Darius Slay and those boys. My problem is that linebacker core. Just like with the Raiders in some instances. I don't like to keep bringing my team up all the time, but it's kind of like that. We're have no depth at the linebacker core, even though we had Denzel Perryman, one of our best linebackers. Like they got Kaiser White over there. And Edwards, we have Luke Masterson and stuff like that, but our linebacker core was kind of like our weakest link, and that's how it is for the Philadelphia Eagles. Like we have a defensive four, the Raiders have an okay secondary, but no depth there. But the Eagles got a great secondary with depth. You see what I'm saying? So it's going to be fun to watch. So as far as the X factors go for you for both teams, who do you have being the X factors? Because I know the Eagles got good receivers. We know the Giants have underrated receivers or defense and everything of that nature. So, who is your X factors in this game?
My X factor for this game, I think, you talk about the New York Football Giants, is going to be that run game with Barkley. Can those big boys up front handle this Eagles D line? Because the Eagles D line, they're good. There's some big boys there. They come playing hard. But if they can get enough going pushed forward where Saquon gets to that second level, like how you were saying that weak linebacking core in the middle, if Saquon can get to that second level, that's where he's going to do the most damage on these Eagles, man. Because Saquon, once he gets past that, he's going to be able to run the ball. That Eagle secondary that you're talking about has got to start coming up, start helping out, and then that's where Daniel Jones can start making plays to take advantage of these Eagles. But it's going to depend on that O-line, and can Saquon go off on these Eagles? That's going to be the key for the Giants. But on the flip side, for the Eagles, the Eagles have been interesting to me. Like you said, they got Hurts, they got the receivers, they got Brown, they got Smith, and they could air it out. But the thing that to me always made them good was when they utilized that running game. You got these two good running backs. Back to you got Sanders and Gainwell, and if you just run, keep that going, open up your passing game through the run, I think that's where the Eagles can be the most dangerous. Because then at that point, then Hurts can do his thing. Because then he becomes a part of the run game. Then the RPOs come into play. And if the Eagles can get that run game going and keep the Giants moving backwards, I think that's going to be the key for them to be able to control this game and be able to come out on top.
And you forgot about Boston Scott, another guy that's a part of that running back committee for the Philadelphia Eagles, which I think that's going to be my X factor when it comes to the running backs. Even though we know what Miles Sanders can do, we know what Kenneth Gainwell could do. Boston Scott as that third running back, if he comes in on those third downs or he comes in on kickoff return or punt return, you have the ability to take it to the house with Boston Scott. My other X factors that I have, like I said before, Dallas Goedert. I think nobody really talks about Dallas Goedert at the tight end position when it comes to the offensive side. Yeah, you have the AJ Browns and Devontae Smiths of the world, and Dallas Goedert is one of those guys that took over for Zach Ertz and kept that legacy alive at the tight end position with Dallas Goedert. So I think Dallas Goedert on the offense would be Dallas Goedert and Boston Scott would be my two X factors. Now on the defense, I have Kaiser White and I have Darius Slay. Darius Slay has been getting beat the last couple of weeks on the deep ball. He got to stop going for those double moves. There's no way that T.Y. Hilton in that Dallas game gets a 4th and 18 on Darius Slay. That is unacceptable. You cannot have that in playoff football. You just cannot have that. So if I am Darius Slay, it's time for you to show why you needed to be an all-pro. This is why you need to show why you are all-pro. So at the end of the day, Darius Slay, you got to get it together. Now on the Giants side, on the offense, of course, we're going to go with Saquon Barkley. Of course, we're going to go with the Darius Slayton. Well, Darius Slayton can be an X factor, but I'm going with the guy, Richie James. Richie James, number 84, the New York Giants. As a wide receiver, that guy has stepped up to the plate when Kenny Golladay was not getting nothing done. Kadarius Toney, when he was there, he was not getting nothing done. And then you got Isaiah Hodgins, too, that played really well in the Minnesota game last week. So these two receivers can get the job done. And then Bellinger is a underrated tight end for the New York Giants. For their defensive side, I'm going with I think it's Dexter Lawrence.
Okay.
Dexter Lawrence is a monster in the middle knowing that you lost Lane Johnson on your offensive line for Philadelphia.
Mhm.
So you gotta shift some things around. So it's another person on that defensive side that I like. I can't think of his name at this moment, but I know he's a corner or slash safety or something like that. Oh no, Landon Collins. Landon Collins is a guy that he's not great in coverage, but he could definitely come into the tackle box and tackle. He doesn't remind me of a Jonathan Abram that we had because Landon Collins is up there in age. Landon Collins was able to cover, but he's just getting up there in age. But he's not a Jonathan Abram, but he could definitely come in the box and actually get them tackles for loss, stuff of that nature. So there are my X factors going into this game. Pretty underrated X factors, in my opinion, because we already know what the quarterback play is going to do. Daniel Jones, Jalen Hurts, and like I said before we had to redo this show, that Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts, they cannot be run first quarterbacks in this game.
No, not at all.
Right. They can't be run first quarterbacks due to the fact that Jalen Hurts was hurt this year. And then Daniel Jones ran the ball too much against Minnesota. So I think they need to stay in the pocket. If it breaks down, then you scramble.
Then you
run.
Yeah.
So that makes absolute sense. So final predictions, bro. Final predictions. Who are you taking in this NFC East matchup? You're taking the New York Football Giants to go into Philadelphia, or you're taking the Philadelphia Eagles to advance to the NFC Championship?
My dude, I'm so glad I don't live where you live because they're about to want to kill me. But this is gonna be, I think, my upset is the New York Football Giants. I really think being a divisional rival, Philly having that extra week off, not looking so good towards the end of the season, the Giants coming in tough. I really feel that the New York Giants are going to come into Philadelphia and shock the number one seed and be ready for the NFC Championship game. These New York Football Giants, like you said, they just remind you of those Giant teams that won the Super Bowl, went on those runs back in the day, and it's like watching them all over again when you see them play. And it's like it's hard not to see them like moving on or going forward, especially on a division rival game, because they know each other so well. And it's going to be going through the trenches and everything. But I really think the New York Giants are going to pull off this upset, and it's going to be one of those low scoring, tough, hard fought games. But I see the Giants winning this one 24-21.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one. I want to go to New York Football Giants so bad, but the fact that I live in Philadelphia, I want to have my life. You know what I'm saying? I want to have my life. I don't want to walk outside and be like, bang, bang, Eagle gang. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want that. So I like what the Giants are doing. I love what Brian Dable is doing with this football team. They have a future. They need to go out and get a true number one receiver. You overpaid for Kenny Galladay. He has not done nothing since he's became a Giant. Let's just keep it funky. Darius Slayton has not been the best. He's been the number one, but he's been very inconsistent. These playoffs, he's been well, but he has not been his best. I think he could be better. But I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles here. I think they have a lot to prove because a lot of people are counting them out because of the way the New York Giants came through and won those two Super Bowls, being a wild card, being on the road, doing all that nature. So me personally, I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think Jalen Hurts would definitely get the job done. He's going to get his receivers involved, which is Quez Watkins, Devontae Smith. AJ Brown might have a big game. AJ Brown really didn't have many playoff games in his career on top of that. And I think a lot of the Eagles have a lot to prove, losing the last couple of games and letting up in the last couple of games. But like I said, third time the charm is going to be tough. It's not going to be no walk in the park, but I do have Jake Elliott coming down and kicking the field goal 27-24 Philadelphia going to the NFC Championship game. But deep down in my heart, I want to say the New York Giants. I want to. It's eating me alive. You don't understand that I want to pick the Giants, but I live under a roof of Philadelphia Eagles fans. So, do I want to stay where I live at? Absolutely. Do I want to be homeless again? No, absolutely not. So, I'm picking the Philadelphia Eagles here. That's what I have to do. So
What?
next game, man.
Whew. Here we go.
Woo, man! This is
Hey,
like we talked about this
Sunday.
off the air about this
Sunday
game being
fun
the
day.
game. These games being the game of the week. They might be better than the Saturday games.
Oh, definitely.
Oh man, the Cincinnati Bengals. This storyline
Whew.
going into Buffalo against the Buffalo Bills. I don't even know what to say, bro. I don't. Like you said, the Damar Hamlin stuff. They couldn't finish the game in week 18. Brother, take it away. This game is going to be emotional for me. I feel it.
Oh, you think about it, we're talking about it, and we're talking about how emotional it is. Imagine those teams, going back to just a few weeks back when the Damar Hamlin thing happened and they couldn't finish the game, and then everybody just didn't know what was going to happen, the outcome. And then now here we are, Buffalo had their game, against Miami, and they didn't look so hot. Like, there was a few little, hey, what's going on there, Buffalo? Like, what's
Right.
going on? Like that ain't Tua on the field, so what's going on?
Right.
But they still came out on top. And then you have the Cincinnati Bengals, who, to me, it's crazy because it's the Bengals. I'm used to growing up and calling them the Bungles, and that's no more.
Right. The
Now
Bungles.
that program
Absolutely.
has been turned around completely. Not since they had Carson Palmer when they had the little run, but then they would run into the Steelers and the Ravens. Had they been, even noticed in this division. Now they're king there, and it's like, whoo, Joe Burrow, that boy can play. That boy can play. He's got his brother there, Jamar Chase, and they light it up. I'm telling you, these boys light it up, and there's no fear in them. That's the thing with Cincinnati. There's no fear when they play. When they play the Chiefs, they say, "Come on, bring it." They throw a punch, they throw that punch right back at them, and that's what I like about the Bengals. And the emotions behind this game is going to be so intense because you think about, they both are going to go into this game, and now it's going to be played in Buffalo, which is different. The last one was in Cincinnati. Now it's going to be played in Buffalo. We're in the playoff divisional. Winner moves on to the AFC Championship. And this is what they've both been focused on all year. So it's going to be exciting. I love football. This is going to be such an exciting game to watch.
It really is. Nowadays, nobody won that game on Monday night when Damar Hamlin went down. So they just kept it as it is, canceled the game, and who would ever think we'll see them in the playoffs against each other in this second round? Who would
Right.
think? Knowing that Cincinnati just come off the Baltimore win, which it wasn't an easy win because that's a division game. Same thing for Buffalo. Buffalo's coming off of a Miami game where you thought Skylar Thompson was going to come up and upset the Buffalo Bills. Skylar Thompson, a 7th-round pick from Kansas State, was trying to knock off Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And you know what? It's a possibility that
It is.
Cincinnati can beat Buffalo. It's really that possibility because they're the former AFC champions. They've been there, they've done that. They went on the road and did this like they usually do, and they get the job done for Cincinnati. Same thing for Buffalo. Like I said before, this is going to be a chess match when it comes to Zach Taylor and when it comes to Doug McDermott. These two is going to go back and forth and try to figure each other out because you have a Stephon Diggs on that one side, and then you got a Jamar Chase in Cincinnati that has T. Higgins and has Tyler Boyd, and then you have Davis on the other side for Buffalo, and you got Singletary, Mixon. You have so many offensive weapons on both sides of this ball. It's going to be a lot to bring in, and both of these defenses, like I said, they play better when it's on the line. When the game is on the line, these defense play better. We saw that longest run in probably NFL history by Hubbard off the fumble.
Oh, yeah. That
Sunday
was
night.
insane.
So we're going to see some spectacular stuff in this game. And Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, like we talked about it yesterday too, young quarterbacks in this playoffs. And Patrick Mahomes being the oldest quarterback,
Wow, right?
That's insane to me. Tom Brady is out of here. We know is not going to be no more Tom Brady, no more
Mhm.
Aaron Rodgers, probably no more Russell Wilson. Y'all time is done. These
Done.
guys like Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy,
Oh,
Dak, a little bit of Dak Prescott in there too, a little bit. But
yeah, he's
you
still older.
know, this is the future right now.
Mhm.
This is the future of the NFL, unfortunately. I mean, not really unfortunately, but is respectfully.
Mhm.
And they carry it. Even how you go throw Lamar Jackson in there when he's healthy. So it's gonna be a fun game to watch, man. So who are your X factors going into this game?
Ooh, man, you know what? I get why you say unfortunate. It's unfortunate the Raiders didn't get one of those guys, but that's a whole nother topic because that
Oh,
would
do
have
we
been
gotta go
nice.
through wide
to have one
receivers
of
too? That's in this
those.
do we gotta go through wide receivers that was in this in this these
Oh yeah,
yeah, the
yeah.
Justin Jeffersons that we got Henry Ruggs over Justin Jefferson.
Up to Justin
Yeah.
Jefferson. Yeah.
Jamar Chase, we didn't move up to go get him. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later though.
Later. But as far as X factors, man, you know what? When it comes to the Buffalo Bills, it's always been on Josh Allen. What's Josh Allen gonna do? I mean, he's the easy one to go to, but it always does come down to him and all these turnovers that he's doing. That Miami game was sloppy. Yeah, that was one of the sloppiest games, and he's been having a lot more turnovers than he did last season. But now what's going to happen is that when you play these elite teams that are just like you, like the Bengals, like the Kansas City Chiefs, can you afford to make those same mistakes? Because if you look back at the Miami game, if Waddle and them don't drop the ball as often as they do, that outcome might have been different because those opportunities were there. Now you're playing a whole nother team in the Bengals where they have Chase, they have Mixon, they have Burrow who makes plays, not only with his arm, but he can move around and extend the plays as well. So can you make sure you protect the ball and don't make those mistakes and give them those free opportunities to do? And that's going to be all up to Josh Allen because Josh Allen is going to do his thing, whether he's slinging it or running it, but do not turn that ball over and give Joe Burrow and those Bengals another chance to come right back down and score. You know? And on the opposite side of the field is, yeah, Burrow, Chase, and that offense is amazing. But for me, the X factor on the Bengals is going to be that defensive line. Can that defensive line create enough pressure and get to Josh Allen and disrupt that offense? Are they going to go in there and blow things up? You know, make it uncomfortable for Josh Allen. Make him throw every time he throws the ball, hit him. Make sure you're hitting him. A lot of times that stat's so underestimated. The hurries and the knockdowns. It's all just about the sacks. But just interrupting that rhythm that they have, because Allen has so many weapons. He's got Diggs, he's got Davis, he's got his tight end now that he's in love with. Who's that? What's his name? Knox is his name. He just has so many weapons to
Dawson
go
Knox,
to.
that's his name. I
Yeah,
couldn't get his name yesterday. Dawson
yeah.
Knox.
There was a Dawson Knox. Like he's got to be able to get to him, and I think if Hutchinson doesn't gets to him, if Hubbard can have a good game and get to Allen, then they could change the outcome of this game because it's going to be in how much pressure those boys can get on Josh Allen.
Absolutely. I definitely agree there. I definitely agree there. Um, my X factors for Buffalo. Well, I'm gonna say Cincinnati first. I think Joe Mixon is going to be one of those guys, and I think Tyler Boyd is going to be an X factor on the offense.
Boy,
And Tyler Boyd, that it's like I said before, you're gonna have to pick your poison with these receivers when it comes to Cincinnati. Because if you try to double Jamar Chase, then you got T. Higgins. If you try to
yeah,
double team T. Higgins, you got Tyler Boyd, and then you got a Joe Mixon that can run the ball between the tackles, but can catch the ball out the backfield as well. So Joe Burrow have his options, but the question is, can his offensive line hold up? Because that's been the issue. But in the last 6 weeks, this offensive line has gotten better.
they have a
They
lot.
have said that, but in the beginning, Joe Burrow was getting sacked, and we don't want your future quarterback to be getting hurt. I mean, he's only
Mhm.
in his second, third year, if I'm not mistaken. So I wouldn't want him to get hurt. And y'all spent mad money on that offensive line for Cincinnati. Defensively, I think Hubbard is going to be that X factor. but I think it's going to be complimentary football against this Buffalo Bills offense because Stephon Diggs is a dog. He's just a different type of monster
Oh
when it
yeah.
comes to the wide receiver position. That guy catches everything.
Everything.
When I say he has the toe tag swag, that's one of those guys that can do it on the sidelines or in
Oh
the
yeah.
back of the pylon or something of that nature. He definitely catch the ball. If it's deep, short, in the round, it doesn't matter. Stephon Diggs is the X factor for this offense. And I think Singletary's a good running back. He might be the X factor too. We all know what Dawson Knox can do. We all know what Davis can do. We all know what Diggs can do. But I think if you could establish a run with Singletary and Naeem Hines, I think that's going to be a real key factor in trying to go up against this Cincinnati Bengals defense. Now for Buffalo's defense, this one is tough. I think I'm gonna go with I think his name is Ladarius White. I think I'm gonna go with Ladarius White. He is a corner for them. And
Mhm.
I know how he feels about DeMar Hamlin and the
Oh,
other guy, Meliano or something like
oh, the
that.
linebacker.
Yeah, the linebacker from
Mhm.
Buffalo as well. Milano, that's what it is.
Milano.
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 That
Yeah.
guy is a monster
He is
at
Matt
the at the
Milano.
de- at the linebacker. If I wish the Raiders found a linebacker like that.
Right?
I really wish.
Woo, that boy.
I
That
don't know
boy's
if
good.
it's the scheme that he's in with Leslie Frazier or it's just Patrick Graham being bad. It's one or the other. So, like I said, Patrick Graham, Josh McDaniels,
Take
take
notes.
notes.
Take notes. Please take
Take
notes.
notes. When I mean take notes, take paragraphs, take booklets, take page after page after page, and write everything down. If you want a winning culture in your franchise, Mark Davis. That's all I'm gonna say about that. That's all I'm gonna say because these teams that we named from Jacksonville to Kansas City to Giants to Eagles to Cincinnati, they are building winning cultures through their draft and
Through
a
the draft.
little bit of free agency.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm gonna say when it
Yep.
comes to my X factors, because these guys are going to come out and play their hearts out. They wanted that game Monday night before DeMar Hamlin went down. They
Oh, they
wanted that game, and now they get that game early. I think it's a 3:00 game on Sunday.
okay.
That's going to be tough to watch. It's going to be tough to watch. It might be some controversy. I don't know. But you just never know with these playoffs. There's
Yeah.
always some type of weird call that be the reason why a team lost. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
final predictions, bro.
Woo!
Who's going to the AFC Championship? Because you picked the Kansas City Chiefs.
I
Who is
did.
going to play them in the AFC Championship, brother?
I did. I did. And this is gonna hurt me because who I want to win is different than who I think is gonna win. As a Raider fan, I do not want Buffalo anywhere near that Super Bowl. I can't stand Buffalo. I hated them as a kid. I cannot stand the Buffalo Bills.
But if they
But
play KC and beat KC, then what?
we'll have that conversation another day.
Now, you know how to throw that in there.
Woo! But man, I would love for Cincinnati to win. But given everything that's happened, recently with the emotions, the energy, I'm not sure if he's going to be at the game. Is Damar Hamlin going to be at the game? I know he's been near the facility or something like that. He's
I
been
don't think he's
going.
going to be at the game. I
Oh,
doubt it.
okay.
But you just never know.
You never know. You never know. But I actually think that Buffalo's going to come out on top on this. And it's not going to be like how we think. I don't know why I get the same feeling you do. It's going to be some like weird controversial call, going that we're like, what are they doing? Like, I can't believe this is happening. That's going to go that way. And then Buffalo's going to end up winning that damn game, coming out on top 31-28. That's just, I can't see them not moving on to the AFC championship. Mm-hmm.
I know in my last video that we did that got messed up, and that's why we're doing this one today. I had to put some thought into my pick when I picked the Buffalo Bills. I had to put my thought into it. Yes, I know they're in Buffalo. I know it's going to be emotional. DeMar Hamlin, I understand all that situations. But I keep forgetting how Joe Burrow is just so cool, man.
Right?
He's so
So
cool. He's
cool.
so calm. He's so collective. And I think I'm going to have to switch my pick here.
Oh,
I think I'm taking this. I got confidence in the Cincinnati Bengals, man. I really do. I think I'm gonna have to go with Cincinnati here
All right.
because you let Skylar Thompson, Skylar Thompson,
Awesome.
a 7th-round pick from Kansas State, almost beat you when you had them on the bricks the first half.
Yeah,
And they come back. Here we go again with the comeback kid. A few mistakes, a lot of drop balls in that game for Miami. A lot of delay of games mentally in that game that killed Miami from advancing to the divisional playoff.
Right.
I don't think you get that with Cincinnati.
No,
They've been here before. They've been in the Super Bowl last year. They've been here. They know what it takes to go on the road and beat a team. And I think Zach Taylor has built this team from the ground up, built it through the draft with a little bit of free agency. And I love what Cincinnati is doing. And just by, doing my research, and Josh Allen is just not your time to go to the Super Bowl. I think Joe Burrow wants his lick back. And Jamar Chase is going to make sure that he gets that to happen. So I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going 30-27.
Okay.
Cincinnati game winning. These going to be games by field goals too. Game winning field goal. I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know. It's just something in my, I can say something's in my heart and I can actually do it. Unlike the Giants game, I could not do. So I had to do it with Cincinnati. It's just something about Joe Burrow. This offensive line was not great last year. They went to the Super Bowl with one of the worst offensive lines in football. And Joe Burrow still got up after time, and they still won the game. I can't resist that. I can't resist that. So I'm definitely going the Cincinnati Bengals here. I gotta do it.
No. Go with it. Go with your heart, dog. Go with your heart.
I'm going with my heart, my guy. I'm going with my heart. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. So the game of the week is here. The best game of the weekend is here. And knowing that the fact that I don't want to say that because we can't stand the Cowboys, but we damn sure can't stand the 49ers. But Dallas Cowboys going into San Francisco against the undefeated Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the NFL 2022 draft, Brock Purdy in the 49ers. Just go ahead, bro. Just go ahead.
Man, you said it right. This is the game that I've been waiting to see in the playoffs. Was the 49ers and the Cowboys. That rematch from last year. Two different teams than the ones we saw last year. The Cowboys defense is like on a whole nother level this year, saving them from so much. And then now you got the 49ers coming in. It was supposed to be Lance. It ain't Lance. Okay, Jimmy came back in. It wasn't Jimmy. Then during the Miami game, which at the time was a big game for them, Purdy comes in and they win and he hasn't lost. And I'm like, wow, when you see this team and all the weapons they have, when they brought in McCaffrey, they they traded, they like, you know what? We're going to do what the Rams did. Just take our picks. We're going to go get our ring right now. We're going to go do it. And McCaffrey has came through for them. That kid is balling. He's running hard. And these 49ers are playing the way you see him run that hard on both sides of the field. That defense is amazing. It can't be scored on, though. It can't be scored on. There were only two other quarterbacks. It was one team was the Chiefs, the other one was the Raiders, who put up these points on the San Francisco
with
defense.
a Jarrett Stidham at that.
So it can happen, but this is going to be one of the most exciting games because it takes me back to those old Cowboy 9-0 rivalries from back in the day.
Oh, man.
Like seeing them play from back, back in the
Jerry
day where
Rice.
the Rice, the Montana. Yeah. Or even when I couldn't stand the 49ers when they had Steve Young and the Cowboys would beat them and I would just laugh, until they built that super team when they had and then they won. So it was just different. But to see that rivalry come back again, I think is good for football and for the NFC because you have that that again. Because back then that's who won the Super Bowl. That NFC Championship was the Super Bowl, the Niners and the
Yeah,
Cowboys. Because once they got to the Super Bowl, it was like, oh no, that AFC team, usually the Bills, but they were gonna get blown out. So it's like, let's see what happens, you know.
right.
But I'm so excited, and I can't wait to watch this game because it's gonna be one of those hard fought, tough rivalry football games. And this year, it's in Santa Clara, not over in Jerry's World. So we're gonna see how it goes.
Yeah, that's a big statement there. But this rivalry, Aikman, Young, Irvin, Rice, Emmett, uh Roger Craig, you got these
Montana.
defensive players. You
Mhm.
got these defensive players that come through. I like this. This is going to be a very, very interesting game. Dak versus Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Debo Samuel with CeeDee
Woo.
Lamb and Michael Gallup and Dawson Schultz, Tony Pollard. This is a star-studded game.
It is. It is the bunch of stars on both sides for both teams.
Star-studded game. Both
Mhm.
defenses, Michael Parsons. Then you got Nick Bosa.
Both
Then
sides.
you got Vander Esch in the middle, where you got Fred Warner on.
Warner.
I can keep going and going with the players that's on both sides. That so much impact. I don't even think we need to do X factors as we just talked about for
Mhm.
real. Because
For real.
like, if you look, you might almost say both teams are X factors at this point.
Right.
Both
Mhm.
teams are.
Yeah.
But who you think has the upper hand? Like, when it comes to coaching, like we all know that Kellen Moore is the offensive coordinator for Dallas. We all know Mike Shanahan, even though that he is the head coach, but he calls the plays because his guy is the head coach for the Miami Dolphins now, which was
Yeah.
his. Well, I forgot his name, but I know the guy. He's the head coach for the Miami Dolphins now. But do you feel like either of these teams have an upper hand on each other?
You know what? I do in a sense where not so much when you think about them on paper, they look identical somewhat. You know what they can do, what they can do, who can take over at any time in the game. I think the only thing that's going to be the advantage for them right now is the fact that they're in Santa Clara this year. You know, that changes the thing. There have been so many teams that have gone into that stadium, and it's just they get demolished by this Niner defense. You know, when you play football, you're playing at home. The emotion, the energy is just different. And then that tough 49er different already as it is. And then you put them at home, with the fire, with the emotion, the energy. Ooh, it makes them even harder to move the ball on it, to even do anything against them. So if there's one advantage I think between those two, it would be that, and it's still yet to be seen about Purdy. He's had good games. He's had the last couple games. The whole NFL and the media is all over Dak and the turnover machine that he is. That he has become this year. They're wondering what they're going to do. Is he going to be able to finally have that good game in these big games? Is he going to be able to play a full solid game without making those key mistakes? Like, can Dak finally do that? And this is going to have to be his moment to show it. Because this is the game they're all going to be watching. The Cowboys and the Niners this year to see who moves on to that NFC Championship.
See, you put it in the right numbers, bro. You put it in the right way. And Dallas, they put this team together pretty well. Even though I'm
Yeah.
not a Dallas Cowboys fan, because I'm a
Oh
big
no,
Stephen
no,
A
no.
fan. So Stephen A, I'm not a Cowboys fan either. I want to see these fans be so disappointed time after time after time again. I would
Mhm,
love to see the Cowboys fans be disappointed going into San Francisco, because that is a different kind of team that we're talking about. They
mhm.
are different. With knowing that they added Christian McCaffrey, right? They struggled against the run. They struggled running the football. And now you have a Christian McCaffrey that gives you even a weapon in the passing game.
Yep.
Dallas, understand you got Michael Parsons, understand you got Diggs, but the rest of this defense is going to have to step up. This will have to be a team effort to beat the San Francisco 49ers. It's going to have to be a team effort, because I just feel like, yeah, Dak, you want to get to that NFC Championship game. You got to get to that NFC Championship
Oh, you
game.
have to.
You got to. I
Mhm.
mean, we all know with Mike Shanahan, he's kind of like on the line too, because he been to Super Bowl twice. loss. You know what I'm saying? And lost in well, he didn't lose in a fashion with the 49ers, but he lost in a real bad fashion as an OC with the Atlanta Falcons. So they're gonna have to call their best play calls, let it all out offensively.
Oh yeah.
Be creative. Don't be boring and do some reverses, throw some trickeries, do something to get this defense all balanced for both teams, because you have two good defenses that can pass rush and get to a quarterback. Even though Dak is great mobile, but every time I see him mobile, I be scared.
Oh yeah.
I'll be scared. And Brock Purdy, he takes off when he can. We've seen that too. But this 49ers team, this Dallas team is really going to be interesting to watch, man. I'm really excited for the offensive juggernauts that we see. Kittle and nobody really talks about Dalton Schultz and the rookie Ferguson, but Dalton Schultz is one of the underrated tight ends in this league too. So I got to do it. We got to get straight to the point here, man. Who's going to the NFC Championship game, and who is playing the Philadelphia Eagles in not the New York Giants in your situation?
In my situation. Yeah.
Who will play the New York Giants in the NFC Championship?
See, this to me is the NFC Championship. Who wins this is going to move on to the Super Bowl. This Dallas Cowboys, and I don't like the Cowboys, is one of the best Cowboy teams I've seen as a team in a while, with the exception of those turnovers, you know? But they are one of the most complete teams when they have weapons. They got Dak, they got Lamb, they got Schultz. Their second running back, who's not the starter, is probably the better one playing right now. Pollard.
Tony Pollard, yeah,
running hard, and he's not the one that starts. You still got Zeke back there, the one who starts. But to me, I just don't see them getting past the 49ers. They got too many weapons. They got Christian McCaffrey. They got Debo, a healthy Debo at that. A healthy Debo finally. They got Ayuk. They got their big old tight end. And Purdy's back there playing mistake-free football. Just doing what he's supposed to do, following and running that offense the way his coach wants him to. And they just look unstoppable right now. And then you add that 49er defense behind them. I just don't see Dallas coming out of Santa Clara with a win. So I'm going to take the 49ers on this one. I'm going to take the 49ers, but I still think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be the Dallas Cowboys and find a way to mess themselves up and lose this game over something that they did. Not just like that. Just like how last year with the management of the clock and all that, there's going to be something that's going to happen. You're going to be like, what is Dallas doing? That's going to cost them this game against the 49ers, because that's what the Cowboys do. So I'm going to take the Niners in this one. I'm going to say it's a close one. I'm going to say it's 34-33.
I'm agreeing with you, man. I'm agreeing with you. I cannot, even though the fact that we're Raiders fans. And
like either team.
We don't like either team, but I think we have a real big thing. I think it's like I said before, I think it's the Niners fans that does it. It's the Niner fans that gets on our nerves, that makes us hate the 49ers. Even though especially, it was always the battle of the Bay. It was always who's the better team in the Bay. It's always like the silver and black versus the red and gold or whatever. But right now, the 49ers are the better team than Dallas Cowboys. They might be neck and neck on paper, but production-wise, if you look at offense and defense, both of them are highly ranked. But 49ers are ranked offensively better than Dallas and defensively better than Dallas. Tony Pollard could be the X factor for them, but like I said, Christian McCaffrey's a different type of dog. He don't need a backup.
He
don't need a backup. He don't need a Zeke Elliott to compliment them on there. He could definitely carry the load. People thought that he couldn't carry the load because he was so hurt in a bum behind Carolina Panthers that traded for him for a Ice Cube CD and bubble gum. Let's keep it real. They got the Carolina Panthers got nothing in return for their franchise running back. Nothing. I mean, you got draft capital, cool.
Right.
But if you ain't gonna hit on that draft capital, Carolina.
You never know.
So 49ers did they due diligence going to get Christian McCaffrey, and Christian McCaffrey looks good. He looks like he's back to being the best running back in the league.
Mhm.
So, Debo, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, those guys they rallied around Brock Purdy. But the only downfall I have is that even though this is a night game, Brock Purdy gotta keep playing his game. Because if you get behind these bright lights, it's a different type of ball game. He can't let the bright lights get to him in this game.
No.
Just keep playing football. Keep playing like you've been playing when you first came in.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm taking the 49ers to go up against the Philadelphia Eagles on my side. And I'm not going to do my conference championships yet. You already picked that the 49ers going to be in the Super Bowl. You already picked it. So when we do our conference championships next week, I do not want to hear any changes in that.
Got you.
I would, because I'm gonna roll back the tape if you do.
Right.
I'm gonna roll back the tape. The tape don't lie. But I'm taking the 49ers here. I'm thinking, let me see. I don't know. The score. That's I think it's gonna be a little bit low scoring.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 21-24. 21-24, 49ers win. And they move on to play a Philadelphia Eagles. So I have Eagles, 49ers in the NFC Championship, and I have Bengals in Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jacksonville.
That is hilarious for me. And you got Kansas City and Buffalo. And you have Giants and 49ers. But you know what, though? Wait a minute. Giants and 49ers had some rivalries too, though.
Yep.
So so I kind of understand why you did that. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah,
very, very. They got some good NFC divisional game classics. I can definitely see that.
They definitely do.
That's gonna be fun to watch, man. So
yeah,
that is it for the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm happy to be doing this with my guy Leo. I cannot wait till we record Nothing But Raiders podcast that's going to premiere Tuesday night. You do not want to miss it right here on this channel at Spotlight Football Talk. It's going to be mad fun. And we're going to do our conference championships next week as well, or who goes to the Super Bowl. And the week following after that, we do our Super Bowl predictions. But I want to let everybody know that I will be live all weekend for NFL football for live play-by-play and reactions for all 4 games, ladies and gentlemen. The 2 games on Saturday and the 2 games on Sunday. You do not want to miss it. So come into the chat, come and hang out, talk your stuff. I don't care if you're not any of these team fans. You come and talk your stuff. I'm gonna make sure I play. Oh, what's your favorite team? Put it in the comments. We're gonna do that. So, Leo, bro, I thank you for taking your time out. I know you was working and doing everything of that nature to finally get this show on the road and finally get this podcast done. And let them know where they can find you at, bro.
Yeah, no problem, bro. You know what? First of all, thank you. Appreciate it. I appreciate the love and coming on here with you. And I can't wait to start this Raider one because, man.
Oh, we got some talking to talk about.
There are some GMs on social media that are probably worse than Mark Davis. Like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, y'all crazy. But we'll get to that Raider thing on Tuesday. But no, I appreciate it. Thank you. Check it out. And you can find me, on Instagram at Cheeto Linus. You can find me there. I'm there. I've done these things before. I just can't wait. I love football. I love talking about it and sports, and just can't wait to do this again with you, brother.
This is going to be fun, man. Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram at Spotlight Raiders Talk and on Twitter at Spotlight RN Talk. We definitely going to be talking Raiders and football on there as well. But it's just getting bigger for this channel, man. It's just getting bigger, and we doing our best to give you the best content that's out there on YouTube, especially when it comes to Raiders content. It's going to be dope. We're going to have XFL and USFL coming up, and then college football next season. It's going to be a lot to talk about. I cannot wait. But thank everybody for tuning into the chat, and thank everybody for supporting this channel here. And make sure y'all click the links in the description. I got some special stuff for y'all down there, so make sure y'all click the links in the description. We out of here, bro. We'll see y'all next week for the conference championships and Nothing But Raiders podcast. Peace, love, and blessings, and everyone have a great night. Peace.
Peace out.